Near, 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 rip a hole in the sun. Welcome to Cum Paude. Why would you cum soft when you can cum louder? Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Here we are in day number 2 of the playoff series of the Paude. Welcome back, Paude friends. We did top tier seeds 1, 2, and 3 yesterday. Today we're bringing to you seeds 4, 5, and 6. We're going to do a quick look at how they've done throughout the season, look at some of their stats, some of the moves they've made to get where they are this year, and see how things are going to shake out for them in the 2024 playoffs. And you'll see this before we hear from Scooter of who he wishes to play in round one. Depends on when he pulls that trigger. He'll probably wait all the way up to that deadline Wednesday tonight at 8 p.m. So let's jump into slot number 4. Fell out of the third slot by not scoring enough points in week 14. That is Hamfish Sharton. Harry poons over my hammy from Denny's, finishing at 10-4. The preseason predictions, Arrivederci Aquila Turd had the Ham Fist finishing 7-7. A much better prediction than 5-9 from years past. So went for something a little heavier there, but finished 10-4. Well done. Fourth place, good spot to be. Sixth overall in points for. Last in points against. Nobody wanted to score against Hamfish Sharton, so it probably should have been 7-7, but people just didn't want to bring their A game, me included, when facing off against Hamfish. So we're talking about 120 points per game. If you remember yesterday's episode, that's pretty standard. We were seeing Scooter up at 140. That now we're progressively dropping down into 120. Very commendable. 120 is a good win rate. 32.9 margin of victory for the games that they did win, the 10 games, a 32.9 point margin of victory. They started out 0-2, hit the buzzsaw this year. They got Medusa and Hawk Tua right out of the gate, so it was looking bleak at first, but then strung together some heaters. This team did not lose back-to-back weeks. They had a 4-win week and a 6-win week, or win streak, going out there to get to that 10-4. Now, their losses were the Medusas, second, Hawk Tua, sixth, and lucky dog got to play Scooter twice this year because last year they finished besides each other in the final standings, and so week 14 was replaying that team again. So lucky dog got to play Scooter twice and lost both times. Scooter lost both times. Want to make it 3? Yeah, there you go. Think you found your pony there. So I want to talk about how this team got here. Faced some adversity throughout the year, had some injuries to their team, made some good pickups. So we lose Isaiah Pacheco pretty early in the season. Isaiah should be coming back for this playoff run. We've seen him come back here as of late, still running like a bat out of hell. Somebody's chasing him, running with the knees touching their ears, kind of stuff. Pretty cool. But to fill in, splashed $50 of fab there out at Kareem Hunt as they signed to the team, and what a good fill-in that was. Kareem just was scoring lots of touchdowns throughout the year. Fantastic fill-in for Pacheco. Another big play was $20 fab for the Broncos defense, who has been leading the charge as a defensive special team score, getting a lot of points there. And then as of late, seeing other teams tool up and try to build up and get that firepower to face off against 140 point per week teams like Scooter Top G, going and getting Travis Kelce. So Taysom Hill goes down. Taysom was, the guy putting up all kinds of random points, playing every single position on the field. He goes down. That was an ace in the hole there for the Hammies, but had to go out, fill that gap. Had traded for Kobe Parkinson earlier in the year. John really, finagled that one through as Kobe was getting some good looks with the Rams early in the season, snuck that in there for like a second-round pick somehow, but that wasn't enough for Hammy. So he goes out and gets Kelce, pays a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and the 302 to the Medusas to get Kelsey. So we'll see if that plays out well. Kelsey and Mahomes have that connection. They haven't done it too much all year, but when they have, they do it. They go for it. A little bit of threats from Noah Gray, though. Noah Gray's been stealing quite a few receptions and touchdowns away from Travis Kelsey. So that's the big hits. This team, Christian Kirk went out with an injury. They're getting a little bit old. Stephon Diggs gets an injury. This team traded Steph Diggs away as well. So really filling in those gaps, riding high on some of the commies with Brian Robinson and Terry McLaurin scoring well for this team, and Josh Allen. 50 plus points last week and still wasn't able to win or have enough points to hold on to third place. So it's just goes to show that the quarterback is not always enough to get it done. Even a 50-point scorer can't get it done. But had some bye weeks to get through, so scores were going to be low anyways. Everybody's back. Everybody's playing next week. So we'll see if this team is built up and who they're going to face. Scooter, make it 3. Next on the list, the team that finished in 5th was yours truly, Dame Judi Dench, finishing at 9-5. Arriva Dirce Keelaterd projected this team to finish at 8-6, so beat out the projections there. Well done. 3rd in points for, and 7th in points against. So the total points per game, 124. Pretty solid out in there from the Dames with only a 28-point win margin. They weren't really knocking the doors off too much. There were 2 weeks over 170, a week or two in 160s, but other than that, some low-scoring weeks, eked out some wins. It wasn't an easy season for this team. Tight wins against Genocide, went down to the last play of the game the week that they played. All hail ESPN was 70-54 type matchup, not what you want to see. And then, another small victory, 107-100 against the Porta Potties. So not bringing the A game like everybody else that it seems has made the playoffs, wasn't able to take advantage and score big on some of those teams, but did just enough to get through there. Tight losses too, though, on the other side. That's Healthy Twins by 2 points. Less than 2 points. I still have a tweet out to Sleeper about that week with, the defense not getting credit for the safety, that happened on there. But that's beside the point. We don't live in the past. Another close matchup was with Bird Maydew, came down to the Monday night. Jake Ferguson gets injured. See, it's my show, so I get to complain. This is my opportunity to bitch. And then against Hamfist, another close one. If Terry McLaurin doesn't score that ridiculous touchdown to close out that Cowboys game, no reason he shouldn't have been tackled, then Hammy would not have won that game. But again, we're not living in the past. We're talking about now. This is the 5th place team. They did a lot to get there. It all started with the draft. Making a trade, gave his entire 2024 draft to Johns Bussy to get Devontae Adams, Alvin Kamara, and Austin Eckler. Picked up Isaac Garindo with an initial fab blast of $31. Traded later, got rid of Chubb and Devontae Adams, got Ray Davis in the mix. Traded for Cooper Kupp and David Montgomery, gave up a first-round pick, Jameson Williams and Henry Ford for that one. Then makes a big old splash trade to get King Henry after King Henry has a massive game there. Gives up Montgomery that he had just traded for first-round pick and a couple of second-round picks for Derrick Henry. Then does another big overpay for Tyreek Hill, giving up 2 first-round picks and an early third for Tyreek Hill. Moved some other players throughout the year. Alex Madison got moved for a second rounder. Gus Edwards just gets moved for a third rounder. Austin Eckler got moved for a second rounder. Danny Jones got moved for a third rounder. Really, if there was a trade going on in this league, this team was involved. Lots of trades happening, learning from the older brother of the Cum sales that you just keep things in motion. You keep trying to build your team, trying to make it better. On paper, this team looks mean. If it can put everything together, we just saw put up 170 points last week. Scary team for sure, but everything has to click together. If it doesn't, first round exit, and you're done, Dame. It wasn't worth a damn thing. So let's talk about 6th place. Hawk Tua. This is the team that we've glazed every year of this podcast. Say that they've got the best team in the league. They're the deepest team in the league. Their hardest decisions are who to put in the starting lineup. And that still reigns pretty true. However, they showed a little bit of weakness here in this final week, where the 2 stud running backs, Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall, were both ruled out. Doesn't look like they're serious injuries. Could have just been maintenance. Hopefully they're back for the first round of the playoffs, but if they're not, that's a tough one to fill in because they were a little bit light at running back. We'll talk about some of the moves that they've made, but let's do the same pattern that we've been doing. 8-6, projected for 12-2. So really didn't meet that projection. Had the potential for it, but just couldn't meet the mark. Could have been, didn't analyze deep enough if there were some decisions leaving points on the bench or not. Who knows? Again, it's in the past. Team is where they're at. They're fourth in points for. They were sixth in points against, 121 points per game, 31.8 win margin when they won those 8 games. Their biggest loss of the year, Johns Bussy. Believe it or not, Johns Bussy took this team down earlier in the season. Johns Bussy's first win, big shocker. You gotta win those games. Wouldn't have changed the outcome just because of the points for mark. Maybe if they would have scored more points, but they finished in 6th place. Some major moves that this team had. They lost Brandon Ayuk early in the year. That was supposed to be a big play for this team. Dallas Goedert was in and out of the lineups throughout most of the season. But was able to add Juwan Jennings, third and Juwan. Lots of receptions there in San Francisco. Really replaced Ayuk quite well and continues to do so. Continues to score touchdowns. So we'll see in that studded lineup if Juwan makes it into the playoff starting lineup or not. Maybe something they're kicking themselves on now is trading away Bucky Irving. They got a 1st-round pick and a 3rd-round pick for Bucky. Understanding the depth needed in this league sometimes for running backs, and now hearing about Walker and Breece Hall, whether they are going to be able to play or not. Having Bucky would have been nice, although Bucky did have some kind of injury. We'll see how serious that one is, but again, doesn't matter, no longer on the team. So that was a move that happened, and through the moments of weakness, went out and got Gus Edwards for a 3rd-round pick. Solid fill-in. Gus can put up some points and score some touchdowns, especially in a run-heavy offense there in Michigan. Los Angeles. And that's Hawk Tua for you. Coming in at 6th place, team is ever dangerous. You look at the running backs when they're healthy. You look at the wide receivers to put up points. You look at Tua in there, really throwing the ball well. Looks like it's going to be the answer with, the injuries with Anthony Richardson not really panning out, Dak Prescott with the injuries. So, 6th place in the standings, but that does not mean that they're necessarily a team to be selected by the top 3, just for the sheer scare tacticry of the lineup that they can put forth. It's just a team that could put up big points. And I think that's what we see between 5th and 6th there is they've got the players, they got the names, they got the potential. If they put it all together, big points. Could definitely hurt you in the 1st round. Not trying to sway 1st, 2nd, or 3rd at all between 5th and 6th, or having Scooter pick Hamfist because they've already beaten them twice this year and might as well just beat them a 3rd time and knock them out. Not suggesting that at all. But that's another quick show for us today. Like we said, we're going to try and get one out here, one each day. We'll see if time allows. Maybe we get a double feature here today on Wednesday and try and get it all out for the Thursday night games. All right, Scooter, it's up to you. Pick your ponies. And at this point, we say good night, Fermi. Good night, Fermi.
Thank you for listening to the official podcast of the Public Honors College Fantasy Football League. Cum quickly, cum often, and cum loud.